So much real estate for activities. Alright. So, we're beginning from scratch. She's going to tell us a little blurb about what's happening so she can give us a small recap.
A body washed up today on Surfside Beach. A local surfer named Brett Penance. He was found by a woman out walking her dog at dawn.
Look, the green in my
Yesterday afternoon around
through.
4, Penance told his mother he was heading out to surf the big swells coming in.
I have holes in my head.
Janet Penance reported her son missing at 8:30 p.m. last night. His car was found where he had been seen surfing earlier in the day. We talked to some of his surfing buddies who were with him on Friday. They all quit early because the waves were too rough. So at first we thought Penance had drowned. That was until we found the bullet hole through the left side of his chest. Now our question is, who put it there? Who would want to? Penance was a bit of a local hero.
All right.
One of those golden kids who does no wrong. He was a champion surfer on his way to Stanford University this fall. Handsome, popular. He even had a full academic scholarship. A kid like this is not your usual murder target. Several of Penance's friends think it has to do with his involvement in the fight over the condo development at Fossil Cove. They all say Brett was vocally opposed to it and was fighting back hard. The permit battle has practically split the town in two. The county coroner thinks the death was instantaneous. His friends reportedly left him at about 20 after 5. A little kid who lives on the beach thinks she heard a shot sometime just before 6. We'll know more when the autopsy is complete.
The little girl did
We've
it.
impounded the victim's car, Detective. We've also sealed off his room at home in case there's any clues there. It's a very clever murder, boss. Whoever did it is going to be difficult to catch.
And difficult they were. I'm pretty sure we didn't work it out last time. So, trying to think who we did speak to. I think we spoke to all of these people for their initial things. So, Braxton Smith is MILF, as Nick remembers. She was interested in, well, not interested, she was in the same sort of environmental things as Brett. They fucked. She wanted a relationship. He said, no, I actually feel really bad about what we did because you're married. And then she just kind of stalked him. Fun. Cynthia Rhodes works for the council from memory. Trying to remember what her deal is other than looking fabulous. We might have to rewatch hers again. And yes, and she stole some files, that's right. Jason Turley was kind of an ex-friend of Brett. Like, he was another surfer dude. He had hit his girlfriend, and Brett didn't like that. And Jason was like, hey, get out of it, man. This isn't your fight. I thought for a moment there that I was having a weird shadow of my head on the green screen, but no, it's my hand. Hello. So if you see a weird shadow coming for me, it's myself. Frederick Kinsella, he is the guy running the development. He's got ties to the mob, or he might be a mobster himself from memory. The land in question belongs to Stella Gibbs, who's the old lady. Al Kiprano, he is an architect with a stutter. Amos Johnson is an environmental scientist who signed off on the development saying, hey, no, it's fine, it's cool, everything's great. Brett has accused him of tampering the evidence, or not the evidence, the research, the findings, so that it can go ahead, and was like, you know, what did they buy you for? I don't remember, Margaret Harden. We're going to have to rewatch that. We will have to lose 20 minutes of time to that. I'm pretty sure Cynthia was to do with the council like the admin. Edward Telemann, I think, is the grandfather of the little girl? Something like that. And so he was on the beach at the same time as her. He doesn't really remember the shot as well as she does. We'll see her evidence again because I think hers is important. Come on, Margaret, tell me who you are. Yes, he's a painter, and it's his granddaughter who's was visiting him.
Your name and occupation.
Margaret Harden. I'm a real estate broker here in South Fork.
Real estate,
I
yes.
was born here and went away for a while. I came back last year.
What do you know about Brett Penance?
He's Janet and Jack Penance's son. Jack died when he was just a boy. Janet's raised him on her own. She's turned him into quite the little environmentalist.
Would you say Brett
she's
was
a
having
conservative
success persuading the Board of Selectmen to refuse the permit for Fossil Cove?
Not really. His allegations at the last meeting about the hydrology reports was a bit desperate, in my opinion.
Oh.
But if he could prove those allegations, the permit would probably be withheld, correct?
Probably, yes. But he didn't have any proof, as far as I know.
Miss Harden, why did you go not once, but twice to Brett Penance's place of work to ask questions about him?
Oh.
I knew you'd get to this.
She's a Karen, that's right.
If you want the God's truth, I was hoping to talk to the kid. Things were getting out of hand. I was hoping I could help him see there was another side to the picture on this thing. Brett Penance saw everyone who was involved with this project as some kind of monster. So I went to his job and talked to his friends to try to figure him out a little, figure out an approach. That's all.
Miss Harden, is it true that you are the registered broker for the Fossil Cove project?
Yes, but I did not kill this boy thinking it might help with commissions.
She does
Where
have a
were
vested
you
interest,
between
though.
5 and 7 p.m. yesterday evening?
I was showing a couple of men from out of town some real estate.
Couple of men.
They're brothers, I think. Their name is Elias, and they were staying at the Hyde Inn. I dropped them off at around 7:15. I'd been
They're
with them
both
since
called
4.
Elias?
Thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
All right. No, Sam, you have a mismatch. We just kind of rehashed what was happening with this. I am next to the Jekyll Hotel. Yes. So we're trying to use, most of our time for the alibis and all the other stuff because we've already kind of spoken to all these people. Once. We will go back to the crime scene again just to remind us what's a hip-hop and happening. Here he is here. No additional blood was found. Indicates he'd stopped bleeding by the time he got to the shore. You got a new kitty? Yes. Miscellaneous. What we got here? Okay, well, he fell on his surfboard. Cool beans. Looking at the bullet hole. He's in A blood. Okay. There's no blood splatter. The wound was made by a full metal jacket that came from a high-powered rifle. That is interesting. Small amount of blood has seeped into the... Okay, yeah. Yeah, that is how wetsuits work. Neoprene will... Is there anything on the feet? Sir, is there anything with your feet? Nope. Okay, so you've only got 2 hot spots on you. Gotcha. Witnesses. I don't think we did all the witnesses. So I think we'll spend all our time with the witnesses. No, because this is the grandfather on the beach. So we're going to go back to the suspect and hear who Edward Telemann is again.
Just to remind you, Detective,
Oh, for God's
you've used
sakes.
1 hour and you have 5 left.
Cool beans. Who are you again?
Miss Farewell, what are you doing here? wait a minute. Don't tell me.
I'm afraid it's true, Mr. Talaman. I'm here to question you in connection with the death of a young man named Brett Penance.
Well, happily, I've never heard of him before in my life.
Haven't
But
you
I do
though?
believe you were a guest at the home of Frederick Kinsella this past week.
Why, yes. Fred lent me his guest house to polish up the screenplay for my latest movie project. It's called Attack of the Zombie Midgets.
That's right, he's a
It's big
writer.
these days. What has this got to do with Fred?
Mr. Kinsella has been battling the local zoning board over a permit to develop at Fossil Cove Beach. There have been a number of
Sorry, Margaret's
unusual
made me go,
accidents
"I need
occurring
to
to
wear
people who have
lipstick."
opposed his projects in the past. Brett Penance was one of the most vocal opponents, and now he's dead. It seems like an awful coincidence.
But you don't think I had anything to do with it, do you?
No, I have no reason to suspect
yet
you
you're
of
in the
the murder,
suspect
Mr.
list.
Talaman. Can you just tell me what you were doing yesterday between 5 and 7 p.m.?
Well, I worked at my word processor until around 5:30. I had to unplug it because of the storm coming up. I started a fire downstairs. I poured myself a drink. I went out with friends for dinner at 7:15. Fred pulled up just as we were leaving the house. He was coming in from New York.
Did you notice anything
He's coming in from New
strange or
York.
unusual during that time?
New
Well,
York.
there was someone at the boathouse. I heard a boat taking off, and I couldn't believe it with the storm coming up. I went to the window. The
Nice
boathouse
sweet
was just
bells
a couple of
over
hundred feet from the guest house. There was a car parked there I didn't recognize. White or an off-white sedan of some kind.
That's right, there's the
But I
off-white
can't tell you
sedan.
make and model.
Anything else?
No, I'm afraid not. That's all.
Thanks, Mr.
That's all
Talaman.
she wrote.
I'll be in touch if there's anything else.
Sure.
I do also like
No,
that
I'm
because there's
starting
green in
to
my
think I
hair,
may
I
be
just
bad
have
luck.
holes in my head. This is my head, but you can see through it. All the way down. The curls. They're see-through. Okay. Spend our time with the witnesses now. A. Armstrong, I think she's a MILF friend of the MILF. They're all the women in this are MILFs. Janet, of course, though, is not a MILF because she's the mother. Let's talk to Harriet. Okay, come on, Harriet.
My name is Harriet Wilson. I'm the president of Citizens for Responsible Growth.
I'm ready
And
to
since Fossil
cry.
Cove wasn't, we were fighting it. This business about the Penance boy is horrible. I certainly hope it has
I was
nothing to
having
do
an
with
affair
Brett's
with him as
involvement in the
well.
permit battle. But as a citizen, I felt honor-bound to come forward. After the last hearing, a man named Al Cibrano threatened Brett's life.
Okay.
Brett had spoken up eloquently against the project. I think the Board of Selectmen was finally hearing and seeing our side's point. Mr. Cibrano took it upon himself to go up to Brett afterward in the hall outside chambers and tell him that if he didn't watch it, he would get himself killed. Cibrano is the proposed contractor on the project. $40 million worth of crap, if you ask me. That threat, it's the kind of detail I thought you ought to know.
Yes.
It's a little too coincidental that 3 days later the boy is dead. Don't you think?
Don't you think? Yes, thank you. Thank you. Gotta speak to Carlos on that hair. Just gotta.
My name is Carlos Foster.
Yeah, it is.
I was out surfing with Brett yesterday before he was killed. It was just a normal day, you know. We went out, it was surfing heavy swell. We got out of the cars, put our suits on. Randy Howland was with us.
I did have Carlos's hair yesterday.
Me and Randy didn't stay long.
He's all
Brett
gone
said,
now.
"Go on ahead." He wanted to catch a few more waves. Beach was empty when we left.
Is there anyone you know who might have had a reason to kill him?
I know everybody's gonna say that it was somebody from Kinsella's side, but there's a wild card you might want to know about.
I think we went
It's
after
this woman
Jason
in
last
town.
week. Oh, no, you're going to
She's
Braxton.
middle-aged lady,
She's a
34,
MILF.
35.
Oh,
Her name's
she's a young
Braxton
MILF.
Smith. And she kind of had a thing for Brett. She started calling him all the time, inviting him over for dinner. Her old man's some heavy player on Wall Street. He only comes out on weekends. I caught her once up at Surfside watching Brett surf through some binoculars. I ragged him really bad about it. But it really bothered him, you could tell. He told me something. He made me swear not to tell anybody. I don't think he talked to anybody else about it.
He fucked you.
I want to tell you, but
He's
I just
dead.
don't want Mrs. Penance to find out.
I won't tell her.
We'll be as discreet as we possibly can.
Except it'll be the first thing we say. Did you know he
He
was
slept
fucking
with her once, with Braxton Smith. He said it was almost an accident. He said she was a really good person and that he felt sorry
it's
for her.
almost an accident that I'm like...
I think she
Brett,
thought it was going to be
you
the
did
beginning
bad
of some
there.
big affair or something. But she got kind of upset when he told her that wasn't what it was about.
Well, yeah.
She wanted to leave her husband for him.
I mean, he's a bit young
Anyway.
to be left for.
I dropped Brett off at his house last week after a party. Must have been about 1 a.m. And on the other side of the street, I see Braxton parked in a car. She kind of ducked down when I went by, but I saw her anyway. Weird, huh? I told Brett about it, but he didn't say much.
This is a weird shape for a
I
smarty.
don't know. I don't think she would,
Each
I don't
is the
know.
same.
Love makes people strange. I think I'm the only person that knows about this. Please don't tell his mom. I don't want her to find out.
I mean, if Braxton's the one that killed him, she's gonna find out. All right, James, talk to us. We didn't talk to you last time.
My name is James Holt. I'm an investigative reporter for the New York World Herald. I had an appointment to meet with Brett Penance yesterday evening at 6 p.m. sharp, but he never showed up. That's not unusual in my line of trade. Sources get cold feet.
What were you going to meet about?
Brett was going to deliver documents related to the permit application for Fossil Cove. He said they contained proof that the hydroengineering report filed by the developers, Frederick and Scylla Partners, had been falsified. Brett said that the real figures would doom the project from ever receiving a permit.
Did he say how or where he got this information?
No, he didn't. Brett only called me last week. I've never met him before. I'd only seen him speak a couple of meetings down in South Fork. He was very eloquent for his age.
Is there a particular reason he contacted you, Mr. Holt?
I've been following Kinsella's story in the paper for a couple of years now. He has a record of being involved in an unusual number of irregularities during the permit process on his developments. A member of the local zoning board in Bellport, Long Island, lost both of his legs in a car accident. Later, police learned the brake lines had been cut. A woman who started a community group in Manhattan opposed to one of Kinsella's skyscrapers disappeared on her way to buy milk 2 years ago and has never been seen since.
She was on her way to
In
choir
the
practice.
first case, circumstantial evidence linked the crime to mob members who reportedly had links to Kinsella's organization. A lot of people think Kinsella was involved in the second case as well. I called you, Detective, as soon as I read over the wire at work that Brett had been murdered.
You seem like a decent person. All right, Randy. Get Randy for us.
My name's Randy Howland. I'm a good friend of Brett's. We were surfing
As
together
opposed to a
yesterday
bad
afternoon,
friend?
but I had to leave early to get to work. The storm was coming, and the waves were a little sketchy anyway. So Carlos Foster, the other guy with us, we bailed. Brett said he wanted to hang, and it's about 5:30.
And so I got my gun.
He was solo. One thing's for sure, whoever killed Brett knew his surfing habits. He was the best. He'd surf everything. So they knew he'd be out there with a
Surf
swell like
death.
that.
Is there anything else?
I hate to turn in a brother, but there's someone you should check out. His name's Jason Turley.
Ah, it's the Jason
It's
Taylor
totally trippy.
storyline.
He's an okay surfer, but he's got some damage.
I mean, who doesn't?
About 2 weeks ago, a bunch of us were out at Surfside. The waves were sweet. We were heading in at
It's
sundown.
just the waves were sweet.
Brett and I came over the dunes.
He can surf
Where the cars were.
Preston Smith.
Jason was wailing on his girlfriend.
That's body surfing for sure.
She was screaming and crying, and he was thrashing her as hard as he could. Brett got so smoked.
He got so
He
smart.
beat the shit out of him right there.
I mean, he was stopping in a what's it called?
Probably saved
domestic
Andrea's
abuse.
life. Anyway, Jason got so pissed off. He's going around saying he wasted Brett. Said he was just chilling till he got his chance. Way freaky if you ask me.
Sorry, it's one of those things. I haven't had breakfast and I've just got a bag of Smarties. It's gonna happen.
That's all I can say. I just hope you find the guy, whoever it is.
Yeah, cool. Let's talk to Frida. Oh. Be nice if these auto-played once you clicked them.
My name is Frida Callahan. My friends call me Freddie. Brett and I were working together this summer at Surfin' Dave's.
Oh, Surfin' Dave's. Remember that.
He was a really great guy. I feel real bad for Mrs. Penance. Anyway, something happened at work last week I think you should know about.
Yeah, tell me.
This babe came by twice.
It's babe.
I was minding the shop both times. Brett wasn't on. Bill was out back shaping boards.
No,
Anyway,
Dave,
she had
like the Wanderer.
dyed hair and like this
D-A-V-E.
big gold jewelry on.
No. She was a big
Pretending
Karen.
she wanted to learn how to surf. Like she could even stand up. Anyway, she asked questions about like where we like to ride waves. She wanted to
No,
know
this
who
is
the
the
best
other
local
MILF.
surfer was. No doubt. I said Brett.
This is conservative MILF.
Well, then she starts asking all these questions about him. When I look back, it's kind of like that's what she was really after. Information about Brett. She wanted to know what I thought about him. Was he smart? Did people like him?
Did he have big balls?
She even wanted to know, like, what we did in our spare time and where we hung out. Well, I kept quiet. I think she started catching on, though, when I kept changing the subject.
I was about to be like, with my squeezy balls here? Well, they are.
I had never seen her before last week. But then just by accident, I noticed her leaving a building in town yesterday morning. The sign said, Margaret Hardin Real Estate.
She was hard on
She probably wanted a bitchin' new house to go with her new surfboard.
Sure. Alright, alibis. These are where they tell us why they couldn't have done it. Alright, Braxton. Oh. Oh. Alright, let's go to the other sources. Apparently we don't have enough to actually ask for things yet. I think we'll go with the room because that's where we get the evidence about, like, the stuff that he'd found. And it was in his... Yeah, here we go.
We found a videotape in the bottom of Brett's laundry hamper. I think you'll find it very interesting, Detective.
I think we will.
Okay.
Doing my hand
name is Brett
exercises.
Penance. I'm making this tape because there's valuable information that people have got to know about, and I'm afraid I may not get to tell it. I hope I come home tonight and can find this tape from where I've hidden it.
And
If
throw it
I'm
in the
able
bin.
to, it means that the necessary information has made it to the right hands. But if I don't come back, it means that the information hasn't been delivered. Which is why I'm making this tape. It's Friday, May 23rd, around 3 o'clock, and I have a meeting this evening at 6 with a reporter named James Holt. He works for the New York World Herald.
Cool.
I will be delivering documents to Holt that show the intentional tampering with hydrology test results at the Fossil Cove wetlands. These results were modified in favor of an application made by Frederick Kinsella Partners.
How did you get these again?
The results were falsified by their chief engineer, Mr. Amos Johnson. The materials that I will be delivering to Holt tonight contain the actual hydrology test results, with notes made in Kinsella's handwriting that indicate which figures he wanted changed. These new results diminish the size and extent of the wetlands by 45%. And according to the zoning bylaws of South Fork, Kinsella claims he has rights to build 125 houses and condominiums on Stella Gibbs' farm. According to my calculations, based on the actual hydrology test results, Kinsella has rights to build 11. The real heroine of this story is the person who risked her life to provide me with copies and the documents.
Who was it?
I promise never to reveal her name, and I won't, but she really deserves most of the credit. Now my task is to deliver the documents. One will be given to Holt, James Holt, later this evening, and the other copy can be found buried under a large granite rock in my mother's side garden. Sorry, Mom, that I disturbed the plants and made a mess, but, you know, it's all in the name of the planet, I guess. And I'm really sorry, Mom, about the subterfuge and the runaround. I just knew you'd get really worried if I told you, and I didn't want to get you involved. I've been followed. Someone tried to run me off the road and kill me. And it's a mess. But I really love you, Mom, and, you know, I don't know, you've just been the best. So, anyway, I gotta go.
We indeed just found the envelope that Brett Penance refers to, exactly where he described. The proper authorities are being notified. Now all we need to find is the killer.
Don't mind me, just fixing my sweet hair. Is there anything else we've got in here? Oh!
Excuse me, there are 4 hours remaining. Have you tried retracing the victim's route?
Not yet. I want to see what's in his nightstand.
We found a phone number written on a matchbook cover, carefully stored inside the victim's desk drawer.
Okay.
There was no name beside it, so I called the number and recorded the call.
Oh.
A woman answered the phone. Before I could even tell her why I was calling, she said,
"Please, leave me alone. Don't you see this is very dangerous? I could get killed. They killed Brett."
I traced the number to a residence for a Suzanne Newcomb over in Harborside. It so happens that a woman by the same name used to work for Amos Johnson Engineering until 2 months ago. I called his office posing as someone who wanted to hire Miss Newcomb. They said she left for a medical reason, ulcers, but they said her work was excellent. This is looking more and more suspicious.
They shouldn't be saying why. They can say she decided to leave for a medical thing, but not say, yeah, she had ulcers, mate. Alright, let's try retracing his route. Alright. So we started at the house. She had ass cancer!
Like I told you, Brett left the house around 4. He said he had a few errands to run before going down to surf, and that he'd be home by 7.
Alright.
He didn't say what his errands were.
Cool beans. Hey, hot stuff.
My name is Poppy Cleveland.
Ooh!
I was riding my bike down Summer Street when Brett drove by and waved.
Oh.
It was 4:10. I had just finished a babysitting job, so I had just looked at my watch. Brett was headed toward the center of town.
I've just imagined now, a murder mystery where you don't remember the exact time when Brett waved it. Well, I was just thinking, like, you know, if it was like a kind of futuristic one, like imagine if you like Google Glass and be like, yeah, I know what time it was because I was looking at him and I could see the time at the same time. Heads up display for the win. Let's go to the library first.
My name is Ellen Webster. I was the librarian on duty at 415 when Brett Penance stopped by. He returned a copy of the new biography of J. Edgar Hoover. He took out a copy of a novel called Vindication about the life of Mary Wollstonecraft.
Okay, he was a posh boy in a way. Like, fuck me. He was, what, 18, 19? Why is he reading hard literature like that? Hard literature. Dull literature, more like.
Brett stopped by for $5 in gas a little after 4. I know because he asked the time. It was 4:30. He and I were chatting about the storm that was coming in. He said it was surfing weather.
It
One
was
thing for sure
4:30.
is that boy loved to surf.
What time was it? It was 4:30.
I know because he asked the time.
I need to hear it again.
It was 4:30. He and I were chatting about the storm that was coming in. He said it was surfing weather. There's one thing for sure is that boy loved to surf.
They had to have been so out of... Like, did he... I didn't look. Did his mouth move?
It was 4:30.
I mean, he does move, but he must be like... And they're like, we couldn't hear what time it was. I'm not filming it again. All right. In post. 4:30. Oh, she's looking down on me.
Brett met his friends here at 10 minutes to 5. It's only about 10 minutes from the gas station in normal traffic. What he did with that extra 10 minutes, we're not quite sure. It may have just been the weekend traffic that slowed him down, or he may have stopped someplace else. According to his buddies, they were in the water within 5 minutes.
Yeah, so there's like a 10-minute gap. Somewhere in here. So, unless this guy... unless this guy gave him a blowjob. Yeah, I told him it was 4:30 and we went into the gas station together. Let's check out Brett's car. It is an off-white sedan. Oh. The surfer's back seat.
The back seat contains several sticks of surfboard wax, one running shoe, a windbreaker, a jar of liniment for sore muscles, and a copy of a novel entitled Vindication from the local library.
Yeah.
There are no manila envelopes. There are a set of unidentified prints on the rear driver's side door handle and on the seat inside.
What was that at the end? What was on the door?
There are a set of unidentified prints on the rear driver's side door handle.
Fingerprints. We already watched that. No. Front seat? Oh, hello. Those rear handle prints of the MILFs, yes. The seat, though.
There are 4 different sets of fresh fingerprints on the dashboard, steering wheel, and seat that have all been identified as belonging to Brett or his close friends.
Okay.
There's a drop of blood on the driver's floor mat, positively matched to the victim. It appears to be at least several days old. A t-shirt and towel belonging to the victim are on the passenger side floor. The glove compartment contains 3 condoms, surfboard wax, a copy of the zoning bylaws for the town of South Fork, and a copy of Brett's auto insurance and registration.
Nice. Obviously, Brett decided to be prepared after accidentally sleeping with a MILF. What about this? Nope, not interested. In South Fork, they only send them back to 50. Woo! Can we look at the surfboard? How about the boot? Yes! Give me the boot! Oh, you dirty boy.
The trunk contains the other running shoe,
Brett
an
has a lot
empty
more to
jar of
apologize
peanut
to
butter,
for.
a spare tire,
Okay.
and a toolkit, and an old blanket.
Why is there
All
so much
fresh fingerprints in the area belong to the
back here?
victim. There is no sign of a manila envelope or the evidence he was set to deliver to the reporter from New York.
Interesting, yeah. Back of 50 condoms Nick was talking about. Okay, so we've read the autopsy last time. There's nothing crazy in that. It's pretty much what we saw. Oh, non-testimonial. Non-testimonial. I don't think we've seen any of these. Alright, Braxton. God damn it. Okay, so I think at this point we're going to go to the press conference. I think we have enough to, you know...
Where is the boathouse? Where is the body found?
What is the projected budget of the Fossil Code project?
Yes, I feel prepared because we've done things. Okay. Was the victim having an affair with one of the suspects? I think the answer was no, even though he slept with her. She wanted it, but I would still say from, like, you know, like, court-wise, I'd be like, yes, they did have relations, so... But I think the answer is going to be no. Yeah. What did Frederick Kinsale's servant report after seeing at the boathouse? They can't see the boathouse from the main house. Yes. Which suspects live next to each other? I don't think I know that. Maybe Cynthia Rhodes and Margaret Harden? Nah. How did we okay, he went by helicopter. Wasn't it helicopter? Who does Carlos Foster suspect? Oh, he suspects Braxton Smith. Oh, who does Janet? Someone's connected to Fossil Cove, I would say. Yeah. Well, he saw an off-white pickup. Okay, apparently not. I could have sworn he said it was an off-white car. They were potato farmers. It was a seaplane, it wasn't a helicopter. He asked to do a detour and swing by Fisher's Island? It was Surfin' Dave's. It wasn't the best.
I've seen better press conferences, Detective.
But it
I
wasn't
think
the
we
worst.
need to do a little more investigating.
Okay. I hear what you're saying, press. I'm coming back to you. Alright, talk to me, Cynthia.
Detective, you're halfway there. The autopsy should be ready by now, shouldn't they?
Yeah, maybe I should have been taking notes. But I'm like, we've dealt with this for 2 weeks now. Tell me who you are again,
Your
Cynthia.
name and occupation.
Cynthia Rhodes. I'm head of the Board of Selectmen here at South Fork. I'm also a full-time mother.
Mrs. Rhodes, what can you tell me about Brett Penance?
Mr. Penance was one of the more vocal opponents to the proposed development on Stella Gibbs' farm. He has all the passion of youth, I'm afraid, and it angered a lot of people. Someone who's never had to earn a living can afford to take extreme environmental positions.
Are you for the development?
In this case, yes. It means many jobs. And Fossil Cove has been very sensitively designed and sited. They've done it so the structures will have as little impact as possible. I'm not wildly pro-development myself. You can look at my record, Miss Farewell. But this is responsible development.
Is it though?
I don't think it's any secret that I'm for it.
Have you heard anything about falsified hydroengineering reports submitted as part of the permit process?
Yes, there have been some insinuations. Brett Penance made some of them himself. But as public officials, we must deal with hard evidence, facts, and there were none. Anybody can make insinuations.
Did you think someone was mad enough to kill Brett over the insinuations?
Yes, and I've said so in private. The last public meeting on Tuesday got nearly violent. I have to admit that when I got the news this morning about Brett, I wasn't entirely surprised.
Where were you between 5 and 7 p.m. last night?
I was cooking most of that time. I had friends in for dinner. I got back from the market about 5:30 and cooked until everyone arrived 2 hours later. Both of my children were home and can verify that.
Thank you, Mrs. Rhodes. We'll be in touch if there are any other questions.
You're welcome. I'll be happy to answer any of them.
Cool. Can I finally ask for alibis? Where were you, Brexit? Fuck. Tell me what you were up to.
Your name and occupation.
Frederick Kinsella. I develop real estate. I'm doing a project out here at South Fork, at the Fossil Cove Beach.
Mr. Kinsella, what can you tell me about Brett Penance?
Nothing. He was one of a number of people that were trying to fight my development. I never spoke with the man.
According to my information, over 700 people have signed a petition against Fossil Cove. In a town of only 2,300 registered voters. Do you call that a small number?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Kinsella, there have been a number of unfortunate accidents suffered by people who have opposed your developments in the past. I believe one woman actually disappeared and is presumed dead. Do you find it odd that Mr. Penance has also been a victim of foul play?
Well,
My client does not have to answer that question. That's a leading question, Miss Farewell. Frederick Kinsella has not been indicted.
Yes, that's correct. I only wanted Mr. Kinsella's opinion. Mr. Kinsella, can you tell me your whereabouts between 5 and 7 p.m. last night?
Go ahead.
Of course. I was at my Manhattan office till about 5:30. My driver, Paul, then took me to an opening of an art gallery, the Turner Lewis Gallery. Stayed there for about an hour, whereupon Paul took me to the South Street Seaport, where I caught a seaplane out here to South Fork for the weekend.
Okay.
Thank you. That will be all for now.
My pleasure, Detective.
My pleasure. Let's try going back to the press conference.
Where is the boathouse? Where is the body found?
What is the projected budget of the Fossil Cove project?
Her name was Andrea. Who owned the gun who used to kill the victim? Well, if we knew, we don't know. No, I mean, I spoke to Frederick Kinsella, to Frederick again, just to get him to remind me what he was up to. When did Edward say he was leaving? It was 6:45? It was Vindication. We found a videotape of Brett describing what he'd found. Cynthia Rhodes' boyfriend's name. I don't think she said. Like, who would tell me that? I'm picking Frank. Oh, God. Who cares who Stella Gibbs' husband is? He's dead. I'm going to say Emmett. Fuck, it was probably Horace. Victim was last seen around 10 minutes to 6. Joel Franklin. Surfside Beach? Yes. He was going to give documents implicating falsified hydrology reports.
Great job with the press, Detective. You really let them know who's in control. At this point, you can conduct in-depth interviews with up to 3 suspects.
Okay.
Or go straight to making your warrant application. Whatever you do, good luck.
The problem is I still don't know who. I don't think it's Jason. I think Jason is a red herring. I think considering the documents are gone, it's going to have to be part of Frederick Kinsella's stuff. And I doubt that Frederick himself would do shit like that. Now, we do know that Al, we could ask Al questions about him owning a gun. And I don't suspect the ladies. So I'm going to pick Al. I'm going to pick Amos. Do I pick Frederick or do I pick Edward? Or do I suspect Stella Gibbs? She's a farmer's wife. She'd know how to use a shotgun. Oh, except it's a rifle. I mean, you could use a rifle on a farm. On a potato farm, though. I don't know if the rabbits would be going for the potatoes. Come on, Edward. Something about you screaming, please ask me more questions. Let's ask Edward more questions. Yes, tell me about the car that you saw.
It was white, a sedan, a few years old. I think it was a Mercedes-Benz, but I can't be 100% positive.
It was definitely not a Mercedes-Benz if it was, his car. Brett's car. Do we care about any of that? Next page, please. Cynthia Rhodes, Braxton Smith. Oh, yeah, have you ever met Cynthia Rhodes?
No, I have not.
Okay. I just considered that one of the possible answers was an Edward. Do you know how to drive a speed... Oh, have you ever shot a rifle?
No, I'm afraid not.
Do you own a gun?
Yes, I own a Beretta. I keep it in my bedside table back home in California. A useless thing, impossible to shoot with any accuracy. I don't even know where the bullets are.
Well, that's not handy. Edward's a lost cause. Let's speak to Amos, the nerd. Yeah, where were you, mate?
No.
What?
No. 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 No.
Sorry, just saying. Everything's fine. No, I've got the 4-year-old's birthday today, so sister's been sending me messages, just been like, blah, 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 can you bring this? Yeah, tell me about Al.
It's your chief speaking. Only 2 hours left to solve this murder. The Chamber of Commerce is having a conniption fit about this. They say murder is all wrong for their vacation image. You're telling me.
He might have been a while back, but he's having a pretty good year. And if this project goes through, he'll probably never have to work again in his life.
Wow. Wow. Oh, yeah, do you know Braxton Smith? Do you want to be hooked up? Oh, we can ask him about Suzanne.
Yes, she's married to that famous commodities broker. What's his name? She was opposed to the project. What does she have to do with all of this?
I just wanted to know what you thought about her. I understand she's a MILF. Actually, I don't know if she's a MILF, because I don't know if she's got any kids. Would that be a WILF then? Woman I'd like to fuck? Not that I'd like to do it, but you know what I mean.
Suzanne. Suzanne worked for me until about 6 weeks ago. She left for health reasons.
Did she?
She was excellent. I was sorry to lose her.
Was it mental health?
What does Suzanne have to do with all of this?
She couldn't deal with your shit of falsifying evidence? Yes, let's do this one.
No.
Okay.
There's no proof that it's Frederick Kinsella's handwriting on those documents. They're completely fabricated.
No. Yeah, that's what we're getting out of Amos. Amos is just no. Wait, but so these aren't the same questions that we were getting, like we asking the alibis or the non-testimonial evidence, because the non-testimonial evidence would probably give us more of that information that we wanted. So how do we get that? Okay, Amos. No, we've already spoken to you. It's Al Cipriano. Oh, here we go. Yeah, where were you between 5:15 and 6:40?
I had a personal appointment. It has nothing to do with all this. And I didn't kill Brett.
Kind of beginning to think you did. Do you know Suzanne?
I don't know.
Ooh!
I told you I had a personal appointment. We just happened to go to the Surfside and Park to talk. It was just a coincidence. I didn't know it was Brett's car. It was raining hard.
Who were you meeting with?
I can't say.
It was raining hard. Yeah, tell me about, what's your opinion of Cynthia Rhodes?
She's nice. I think Cynthia has a tough job, but I think she was trying to be fair with the hearings, I mean.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about guns.
No. Things scare me.
God damn it. So the only person that seems to know how to gun is Jason. But I don't think Jason did it. That's the problem. I can't go back. And I don't know anyone's alibis. So we're going to go back. Yeah. Because we know we're not going to pass on that, so. We don't have enough evidence. We need to be able to get the alibis. Wyatt thinks I can't have the alibis. I am not so certain. Yeah, imagine if we had more time to just peruse everything.
A body washed up today on Surfside Beach.
Okay. I have to get the evidence. Sorry, I just going like, oh, I actually feel quite cold. I'm just trying to see if I've got anything nearby. Oh, no, that's a turban. That's not going to help me. I'd have to get up from behind my green screen. The green screen hides all. The green screen hides all! I have a half-made scarf. I think that'll do. There we go. Just need to... Especially now that I don't have the hair on my neck. Just a bit cold. Just a bit cold. Oh, did we see this? Okay, a dog found him. That's right. Marla Waxman. reckon, girlie? Mother?
Your name?
I'm Janet Penance, Brett's mom. He left the house yesterday around 4, saying that he was going to the beach and that he had an errand after that. He said he'd be home around 7. He's never late, and when he didn't come home by 8:30, I got nervous. That's when I called the police. You know, I can't help but think that this has something to do with that fight over the development at Fossil Cove Beach. Everyone, the developer, the owner of the land, the builder, even the head of the city council, they were furious with Brett. It means a lot of jobs. You know, real estate's been way down.
But the environment's
I know he loved the wetlands there, and this meant a lot to him, but I wish he'd never gotten involved in the whole mess.
Ms. Penance, we're keeping your son's car down at the police station for further investigation. We'd also like to seal off his bedroom and take a good look around.
Yeah, I understand. Please.
We'll need to talk to Mr. Penance.
He did! Unless you want to do a
He's
seance.
dead. He died when Brett was 3.
Is there anything else you can think of about yesterday? Anything that sticks in your mind that might help us?
He was carrying a manila envelope. It probably had something to do with Fossil Cove. He was always carrying papers related to the case.
I figured, what's it called, while I'm here wearing an unfinished scarf, I just keep working on it. I think we have to, like, click through all of these just to be like, hey, time has passed.
Your name?
Jeez. Pause it at a straight.
Just to remind you, Detective,
I know.
you've used 1 hour and you have 5 left.
I think, you know, to be able to do the entire thing, to be like, okay, we speak to all the, so that it flags that we've spoken to all the suspects. So really, we have less time, but you know. If they're going to give us this many suspects, I might as well hear Jason defend himself. Just for his surliness.
Your name and occupation?
Jason Turley, I surf.
You surf for a living?
No, but I'm taking the summer off before I go back to school.
Did you know Brett Penance?
Yeah, and we weren't the best of friends, as you probably heard. That's why you're asking me questions, right?
He did.
You think I killed him, don't you?
Mr. Turley,
Maybe.
someone has stepped forward to say that you had recently threatened Brett's life. We have to investigate any such reports.
Yeah, well, I can tell you one thing. Brett had no business getting involved in something that was between me and Andrea. It was our problem and we were dealing with it. Man, Penance was such a pain sometimes.
You know,
Always trying to save the world, acting like he was God. Like that permit fight, right? What a joke.
My understanding, Mr. Turley, was that you were assaulting your girlfriend, and that Brett Penance stopped you.
Hey, if I was assaulting my girlfriend, how come she didn't call the police? Huh? How come we're still going out?
Oh, that poor woman.
That was Penance for you, always sticking his nose into where it didn't belong. Frankly, I'm not surprised this came down for him.
Mr. Turley, where were
I'm
you
not
between
surprised
5
he
and 7
did.
p.m. last night?
I was on my way back here from the city. I had to go in and see the doc for the planner's ward on my heel. Next question?
That will be all for now. We'll be in touch once
Nurse.
we've checked your alibi.
Sounds fine to me.
Sounds fine to
Stay cool,
me.
babe.
Oh! Ugh. I forgot that he said that.
Excuse me.
Yes.
There are 4 hours remaining. Have you tried retracing the victim's route?
Well, no, because I'm still speaking to all the clients. The client. My clientele. I think, like, getting the suspect shouldn't be included in the time. Am I crazy for thinking that? I mean, like, chasing up, sure, but, like, actually finding out who these suspects are. We haven't heard from you today, Stella.
Your
Speak to
name
us.
and occupation?
Oh, I'm Stella Gibbs. I used to farm before my husband Owen died. Now, that was 5 years ago. Now I just keep a vegetable garden. Well, potato farming's too much work for a woman alone, and none of the kids are interested in farming.
Mrs. Gibbs, what can you tell me about
This is
Brett
not
Penance?
a bad old lady.
That he was a young
actor.
whippersnapper with a too high opinion of himself. Now, he was fighting the sale of my land, trying to stop the permit from going through.
You own the land at Fossil Cove?
Yes. Well, Fred Kinsella's given me a nice down payment.
Oh.
But the sale isn't final till the permit's in place. And let me tell you one thing. People who are 18 years old have no right trying to tell a body what they can or can't do with the land they have worked all their lives. Now, nobody can. And that's the trouble with all these folks from out of town. They think that once they're here, nothing else has got the right to change.
But Brett Penance was born here.
Well, yes, but he got his ideas from someplace else. Now, things change, and people just have to accept it. And I'll take this thing all the way to the Supreme Court in Washington. But I am selling my land to whoever I please, and what they do with it is their business, nobody else's.
I mean, you can
Mrs.
still
Gibbs,
sell the land,
where
he just
were you
can't
between
do
5
anything
and
with it.
7 p.m. last night?
I was here at home. I cooked supper and ate at 5:30, watched the 6 o'clock news.
And then went out and shot
And
Brett.
then I worked on my quilt squares until
Ooh.
I turned in at 8 o'clock. Well, you
Can I
ask
see
my
these quilt
son, Owen
squares?
Jr. He was here the whole time.
Oh.
We still keep farmers'
Owen Jr.
hours.
Do you know anyone who might want Brett Penance dead?
If this is one of those trick questions, Ms. Farewell, I guess you'll just have to find some other fool to trick.
Woo!
No, I don't know anyone who would kill Brett Penance just because they wanted to build condos.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Gibbs.
Just because they wanted condoms.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Detective, you're halfway there. The autopsy should be ready by now, shouldn't they?
I mean, yeah, it is. But I gotta speak to all my fucking suspects, which does not take 3 hours. Alright. What I do want to do is I do want to go to Brett's house and find the documents to prove that he's not crazy. Okay. Let's see if that's now enough that I can hit up this non-testimonial evidence. Yes! Okay, Braxton. Positive match. She's left-handed. She drives a 1993 white Mercedes-Benz. Interesting. 'Cause who said that they saw, they thought they might have seen, oh, it was, the writer guy. So what was Braxton doing at Frederick's house?
It's your chief speaking. Only
It's
2
my
hours left to
chief.
solve this murder. The Chamber
Ooh,
of Commerce
yeah.
is having a conniption fit about this.
Fuck them.
They say murder is all wrong for their vacation image. You're telling me.
Alright, so Cynthia, no matches. She's got a size 8. Her car, okay, yeah, she weren't there. Jason, you do know how to shoot a gun, so I'm gonna ask you. Nope. Is it Braxton? Like, her car's white. Does Braxton know how to shoot a gun? Oh! Stella! Stella has a off-white car as well. Positive to matches the prince. So, if we think that Braxton is the prince at the back, does that mean that Stella's the prince at the front? Left or right-handed? I'm just trying to think. Oh, yes, this is also green. I'm just trying to think if anything to do with being left-handed or right-handed might come into this. Yes. I'm beginning... Like, last time I was like, I don't think it's any of the women. Now I'm like, I think it might be one of the women. I think we're going to check out Margaret, because remember, she was asking. No, okay. But she also has a white Mercedes-Benz, but no tire prints. What about you, Braxton? Were your... Yeah, so... Okay, so Braxton was definitely there, but she did say that she'd been following. Let's see if I can get the alibis now. Yes.
Owen Gibbs stated that his mother came back from town at around 5, and that he and his mother were home alone the entire evening. This concurs with her report. He also reported receiving a phone call at around 6. Stella Gibbs answered the phone, so we can place her solidly there at that time.
Okay, Braxton.
My impression was that the son is pretty much under the mother's thumb. Owen Gibbs must be 38, 39. He works at the local hardware store. He's never married. He says he's always lived at home. This is a less than perfect alibi. He has powerful reasons to cover up for his mother.
Powerful. It is kind of looking like Braxton, though, isn't it? Let's get Braxton's alibi. And then we will move on to the questioning. We'll do the press conference.
Braxton Smith was seen at the post office when she says she was near 5 o'clock. She checked into her health club at 5:15, or so she wrote. I checked the log, and several people above her had signed in as late as 6 o'clock. Also, I can't find any positive IDs until after 6. One member thinks he saw her lifting weights, but he isn't sure. She was at the airport to meet her husband's flight, which arrived 10 minutes late at 6:55 due to weather. This leaves a hole near the time of death.
It does. Braxton. Braxton.
Where was the boathouse?
Where is the body found?
What is the projected budget of the Fossil Cove project?
Listen, there's only 1 hour left.
Yeah.
Use your time carefully. From here on, every minute counts.
He was 4. Oh, he must have been 3 then. We don't know, and it's not polite to ask. Ow! I don't know. Harvard? Oh, he works at the local hardware store. By seaplane. He was going to give the documents. Margaret Harden. Nah. I don't know all of them. I didn't... What? You can't ask all of them. Oh, first one. What time was the body found? It was...
I've seen better press conferences, Detective. I think we need to do a little more investigating.
We've done a lot of investigation. You're just asking a lot of shit that doesn't fucking matter to anybody. Like, we've got the non-testimonial evidence. Oh, that we've already asked for a lot of people. We'll go back to the press conference.
Where is the boathouse?
Where is the
I have to get better questions this time.
What is the projected budget of the Fossil Cove project?
What was Margaret Harding doing? She was showing some clients to Nate. So they're both called Eli, apparently. What was found in the victim's hair? Sand? Is the victim's mother a suspect? No. What was Amos claiming he was doing? Meeting friends for dinner. Ah. Did Courtney Rook see anyone? No. She just saw the surfer. Approximate time of death was between sometime after 5. Well, what do you want out of me? It's not Frank. Don't think it was Edward. Let's go with Andy. Oh, fuck off. He went with Randy and Carlos. It was Surfside Beach. Around 10 minutes till 6. Randy thought it was Jason Turley. Al Wright said he was at home by 7:45. Okay. She was looking for a dog. They can't see the boathouse. Margaret and Al.
Great job with the press, Detective. You really let them know who's in control. At this point, you can conduct in-depth interviews with up to 3 suspects, or go straight to making your warrant application. Whatever you do, good luck.
Cool beans. Braxton. Stella, I just want to ask you more questions. And why? Oh no, we did ask him more questions. I'm pretty sure it's Braxton at this point. Let's ask most of the ladies. Stella, I just want to know, do you what's that called? Do you know how to fire a rifle?
Nope, never learned.
God damn it!
It isn't exactly the Wild West out here. Besides, Big Owen took care of those things before he died.
Big
Now
Owen.
Owen Jr. does.
Big Owen. All right, Braxton, tell me, do you know how to fight a gun? Fight a gun? Fight a gun! Big Owen on her hip.
Detective?
I know.
You have a half hour to go.
I know.
And only 10 minutes before you have to file your warrant to arrest. If you don't have a suspect, it's time to make a guess.
Well, yes, but I haven't fired a gun in years.
Haven't you, though? What color are your boats?
Well, the mahogany is wood, obviously. The cigarette is dark blue, and the turbo ski is tan.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what color boat we're looking for, but the fact that you just went, boats! Yeah, I got boats! Let's warrant this. It's MILF time. MILF jail time. Braxton... Anomaly with times, yeah. Motive, sexual obsession. High-powered rifle. Time was at or around 6 p.m.
Sex or sexual jealousy is a motive in many murders, in my experience, Detective. You have your warrant. I hope you found your murderer.
Braxton Smith admits that she followed Brett to Surfside on the afternoon he was killed. She said she went to steal the envelope containing the evidence implicating Kinsella. She said she knew Kinsella was a killer and would stop at nothing if Brett fingered him. As soon as Brett went surfing, she drove up alongside of his car, got out, grabbed the envelope, and took off. She drove straight to her health club, worked out, and then met her husband's commuter flight. She showed him the papers immediately. They were deciding what to do when Brett's body was found. The envelope is now in our possession and contains only Brett's and Braxton's prints. She didn't kill Brett.
Fuck!
I'm afraid 6 hours is up, and I'm going to have to put you on to another case. A woman named Taylor French was murdered.
No. We can't talk about
Taylor
Taylor
French. She was a crack investigative reporter with a lot of enemies.
One, because
a lot.
That game's fucking broken. I'm going to try and buy a copy.
I hope you have more luck with this one, Detective.
We're trying that again. So then it's going to have to be Frank. Frank or Jason? So she stole the evidence. So fuck. But at that point, does what's his name actually have any reason to kill him? But he doesn't know he's got evidence anyway, so he probably just went, Alright, God. Okay, so it's gonna be coming down to Jason or to Frank. It turns out to be fucking deadly. Yeah, Jesus. And then don't forget, we've got the 2 other variants of this. Yeah, okay. Actually, when did that say it was found? Does any of these say when it was? Oh, it was criminal. Yay, positive, blah, blah, blah. It's the victim's own blood on his own wound.
Just to remind you, Detective, you've used 1 hour and you have 5 left.
Okay, tell me your alibi, Jason.
There's no real way to confirm this alibi. The suspect's doctor's appointment in Manhattan was at 10 in the morning. He left by 11. He was seen by the doorman at his parents' building at 1022 Fifth Avenue a half an hour later. That's the last time anyone can verify his whereabouts. I checked at the garage where he keeps his car, and they said he called for it early, around 8, and never returned it. He's missing for most of the day and could have easily made it out to Southwark in time to commit murder. He's also apparently excellent on the sea with boats.
Good Lord.
Kinsella's alibi checks out. Several people saw him at the Turner Lewis Gallery in Manhattan between 5:30 and 6:20. The seaplane pilot corroborates that he left Manhattan with Kinsella at around 6:40 and flew straight to Southwark. That also checks out with FAA records. The seaplane pilot mentioned that despite the bumpy air, Kinsella requested a flyby over Surfside Beach. Since the Gibbs' farm is over a mile away, I'd like to know what he was looking for.
Yeah.
Kinsella himself couldn't have killed Brett Penance, but I wouldn't rule him out as connected to the murder in some way.
Cool. All right. Could they be working together? Could he have hired Jason Turley? Okay. He's left-handed. They were both in the city at the same time. Well, I mean, Jason was out here before him. No, I know that they weren't at the... I don't remember what your evidence was. Tell me.
My name is Amanda Armstrong. I went to school with Brett. I was a year behind him. I know you need help solving his murder, and there's something I've got to tell you.
Oh, she's not a MILF.
I was at my friend's house the other day, Allie Rhodes. Her mom, Mrs. Rhodes, is the head of the town board of selectmen, and she's really for this Fossil Cove development, the one that everyone's so worked up about.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when I was there, we overheard her on the phone in the kitchen. I heard her say to someone, if that Penance snot doesn't watch it, someone's going to kill him. Well, Allie got real embarrassed and said her mother always says things like that, especially when she's talking to her boyfriend, Al. I kind of forgot all about it.
Hey!
But then this happened.
Al Cipriano? Because he's going to be very rich if this goes through. Interesting. But she also has nothing... Okay, so...
Where was the boathouse? Where was the body found?
What is a projected
Oh, I still don't know when the body was found. I forgot to look at the autopsy. Yes. Because I want to ask a lot of questions.
Excuse me. There are 4 hours remaining. Have you tried retracing the victim's route?
I mean, yeah, we did another version of this. Okay, no. They can't see the boathouse. I still don't know who lives next to each other. Carlos thought it was Braxton. Someone connected. What type of car did he see? Well, it's not an off-white pickup. It was a white Mercedes. There were potato farmers. He wanted to have a flyby of the Surfside Beach. He worked at Surf and Dave's.
Great job with the press, Detective. You really let them know who's in control. At this point, you can conduct in-depth interviews with up to 3 suspects, or go straight to making your warrant application. Whatever you do, good luck.
All right, I want Jason Turley. I want Fred. I want to hear more from you, Cynthia, for no reasons. What about Al? Yeah, tell me about Al.
I think Al sometimes got a little too defensive at some of the meetings, but he's an excellent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
He's made it through several years when other businesses his size have closed.
And? Yes? No? Are you dating him? Ooh, yeah, here we go.
Well, I might have used it as a figure of speech to someone in a private conversation, but that's all it was, a figure of speech. You don't think I killed him, do you?
I mean, honestly, no, but... Do you know how to drive a boat?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
Okay. Do you know how to shoot a rifle?
Me? A rifle? No, I don't.
Me? A rifle? I didn't think it was you, Cynthia. Live your best life.
There's a large piece of land for sale there. I wanted to see it from above.
Above and below. Do you think Stella killed him?
No, absolutely not.
Do you know Jason Turley?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay. What about, do you know the Eli's brothers?
No.
No. Tell me about that. That's the
My
important
client does not have to respond to those insinuations. Another question of my client like that and I'll get you suspended.
Feisty.
No, absolutely not.
What was it? Okay. So he denies the figure changing. Any other questions I might want to give you? What do you think about Al?
I don't know him personally. He's done several large projects in these parts, and he comes highly recommended. His wife's pretty.
Oh.
And these delays are a shame, I'm sure.
Intriguing. All right. Come on, Jason. We're going to spend a lot of time with you.
I left town around 4:30 and got to South Fork around 3 hours later. Traffic was heavy.
Heavy. What did you do after your doctor's appointment?
I hung out with some friends who have a place in the East Village. I drove another friend by Bronxville on the way out.
Cool.
He's a friend of my dad's and stepmom's. I've only met him at parties. What's the big deal? He didn't do it. He wouldn't concern himself with a lowlife like Penance.
No, but you might. On his behalf. But you
Not
know
a
him.
thing.
So you don't, okay, you don't know the architect. Good.
She plays tennis with my stepmom and sells real estate.
And sells real estate. You ever met Braxton Smith and maybe accidentally
Sure.
slept with her?
Real uptight. Married to Lloyd Smith, who makes about $5 million a
Lloyd.
year on the street. He's cool.
On the street! He's cool! Oh, good lord. Tell me about... Yeah, have you spoken to the old biddy?
Detective, you're halfway there. The autopsy should be ready by now, shouldn't they?
Yeah, but...
Nope.
Okay, so he hasn't spoken to the old biddy. What about... Have you spoken to the writer?
Never heard of him.
Which, honestly, I'm not sure why the writer is included in the potential suspects. Do you know how to shoot a rifle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was on varsity skeet at prep school.
Ah.
I was the best on the team.
Jason fucking Turley. Do you know how to drive a speedboat?
I've been coming here for the last 18 summers. How could I not? Besides, it's the one thing Dad and I do together.
Oh. What type of boat does your family have?
A 35-foot whaler in white.
Okay. We don't know what type of boat it was. Where's the boat kept?
We keep it in a slip at the yacht club.
Okay. Well, Jason, we're gonna finger you. Excuse me while I finger Jason. Jason. Can't be confirmed was alone. Anger or hatred? Because I don't really think it still doesn't
Your
feel right
stated
to me.
alibi in the warrant application does not match the suspects. Please try again, Detective.
Jason, hatred, rifle.
Excellent work, Detective. You've put together a fine case. I grant you a warrant to arrest the suspect. I hope you found your murderer.
Me too, because I don't want to go through this again.
Jason Turley has just been busted by the FBI for involvement in a drug ring based in Manhattan. Apparently, he spent most of the day on Friday smoking dope for a hidden camera in one of the ring's safe houses on the Lower East Side.
Okay.
He was nowhere near South Fork at the time of Brett's murder. He didn't do it.
You still have time to make another arrest, Detective. Good luck.
Fred, all right. Alibi, yeah. We tried to put it on Jason Turley, but it turns out he runs a drug ring. Money/business, high-powered rifle. Like, there's nothing here to say, I hired somebody. He wasn't there.
It's your chief speaking. Only 2 hours left to solve this murder.
Who else would
The Chamber of Commerce is having a conniption fit about this. They say murder is all wrong for their vacation image.
Oh, no.
You're telling me.
Their image.
Your stated alibi in the warrant application does not match the suspect's.
Oh, okay, fuck. Confirmed only by employees. Money business. Look, we know he wasn't there.
I think your motive for this suspect is a bit of a long shot considering the facts, but I'll grant you a warrant.
Thank you.
We've now got confirmation from people who saw Kinsella get in the seaplane in Manhattan when he said he did, as well as confirmed reports of being seen when he landed out here. There's no way he could have been in both places and committed the
But he
murder.
could have hired somebody.
You still have time to make another arrest, Detective. Good luck.
I'm going for the fucking rider.
I think your motive for this suspect is a bit of a long shot considering the facts, but I'll grant you a warrant.
Thank you.
I'm not proud of my involvement in this in any way, but I never thought it was going to involve murder. Someone from Fred's office called this week and asked that I be around late Friday. They asked me to stand up by the turn to the boathouse and say the road was being worked on. I was to let only 3 people through. I can't identify them because they were wearing stockings over their heads when they came by. They were driving a white Mercedes, older. I should have gotten suspicious then. They were dressed all in black. I owed Fred a favor. Fred got some money owed to me from a distributor in Europe. I feel terrible about this. I'm so sorry. I finally couldn't sit with my conscience.
You still have time to make another arrest, Detective.
Okay, no, so it
Good
wasn't
luck.
him, but he let people through. Who drives a white fucking Mercedes? Three people. Margaret Harden. Margaret Harden was meeting with 2 property developers. They confirmed that they were there. The most efficient way is just to arrest everyone. It was Jason Turley, the abusive surfer, runs a drug ring.
Listen, there's only 1
I
hour
know!
left. Use your time carefully. From here on, every minute counts.
Your stated alibi in the warrant application does not match the suspect's. Please try again.
Okay, fuck. Margaret. Because I haven't asked a lot of questions for Margaret because I didn't really think that she was that involved. See, I don't think she shot them, but she might have let them through.
Detective,
I know.
You have a half hour to go. And only 10 minutes before you have to file your warrant to arrest.
I'm not going to try
If you don't
go
have
for
a suspect,
Stella Gibbs.
It's time to make a guess.
I think your motive for this suspect is a bit of a long shot considering the facts, but I'll grant you a warrant.
Thank you.
Boss, I thought you'd want to see the suspect's testimony yourself. It contains some interesting clues.
So she didn't do it, but...
I didn't kill him.
But
I did try and steal the papers that he planned to bring to that odious reporter, James Holt. The only problem is I never had the chance. Braxton Smith beat me to it.
I know!
Why she wanted to steal those papers, I'll never know.
She didn't want him to be murdered.
Sight. Lloyd's beautiful, proper wife slinking across the dunes and stealing from an old beat-up junker. Why is the question.
Mouth.
What's in those papers can only help her side. I was using Al Ciprano's car. I borrowed it because it's a four-wheel drive. We made the switch by an old, uninhabited house on East Road. That's all I know.
There's a neighbor, a Mrs. Goodwith, who saw the car switch. She also saw Ciprano leave with the two men who arrived with Margaret Harden after she had taken off. She said that Margaret had to wait on the porch of the house until almost 6:30 before
that
the
means
three
Al
men
had
came
her
back.
car. What car does she have?
You still have time to make another arrest, Detective. Good luck.
Okay. So let's try for Al. Only let 3 people through. And I think Al said that he was driving. Money business. High rifle.
Your stated alibi in the warrant application does not match the suspect's. Please try again, Detective.
No!
I'm afraid 6 hours is up, and I'm going to have to put you on to another case. A woman named Taylor French was murdered.
I don't want to know about Taylor French. I'm going to have to, like, bastardize those two discs together. I'm actually going to try and buy a copy from eBay first. I can't believe that, like, I was like, all right, we only spent, like, half an hour on the first, on Who Killed Sam Rupert. This won't take us long. So I was like, maybe we could even play case 2 and 3. Which, again, it's still Brett, I think. But, it's different shit happening. Like, the clues match up differently. I want to go straight to the press conference. It's like, why do you know any of this?
The projected budget of the Fossil Cove project.
Oh, hang on. No, because I want to look at the cars. Margaret, what type... Fuck. Oh, also, I wanted to find out... Oh, god damn it. So the autopsy doesn't come back for 3 hours. I'm going to ask as much about Margaret as possible. And Al. And fuck it, why not Amos as well?
Just to remind you, Detective, you've used 1 hour and you have 5 left.
Yeah, because like the problem with the Taylor French is like there is a copy of this on Exodus, but the suspect video clips are missing. But the other copy that I have, the suspect clips are working, but none of the other clips are working. So I'm like, I tried to do a quick bastardization of the two, but they're actually 2 different versions. From 2 like one's from October, the other one's from December, and it kind of feels like they've changed, like the sizes of the game changed drastically between the 2. But I'm gonna try and get another copy from eBay and see if it's just the way it was captured that's gone wrong. That or I can, spend a bit more time trying to get those clips in. I mean, I could always, like play the clips separately. Oh, thank you, Dee Dee. Hydration. The drink that hydrates you and dehydrates you at the same time. Do the crime scene. Jason, it looks like you got a bit of white stuff here, but I'm not going to question that considering how close it is to your crush. Alibis. I would like Al's.
There are some interesting gaps in Al Ciprano's alibi. He did go by Bert's Burgers drive-up window, but it was at 5:15, not more towards 6, like he reported. The girl at the window who served him said he only ordered a Coke and then drove out as soon as he paid. 2 different members of the paint crew report Ciprano showing up at 6:40, not 6:20. After that, he checked on their work and then took them out for some beers. That part of his testimony appears to stick. None of them noticed him acting oddly. But this does leave almost an hour and a half of his time unaccounted for, very near the time of the victim's death.
Yeah. God damn it, Al. We're here. Give it to me.
Amos Johnson was driving around and has no alibi to speak of for the time of death, as he states himself. His rather belligerent roommate, one George Ruggins, did verify his return home at exactly 8:11 p.m.
George Ruggins?
It sounded like Ruggins was watching the clock.
Ooh! Oh, hang on. What car do you drive?
Excuse me.
I know.
There are 4 hours remaining. I know. Have you tried retracing the victim's route?
They were roommates, yes. Ooh, white Mercedes sedan. Remember, because that's what the writer said, he saw a white Mercedes. Hang on. Has the autopsy come back yet? 3 hours. I'm just gonna go with Alan. I'm pretty sure it's Al now.
Where was the boathouse?
Where is the body found? What is the projected budget of the Fossil Cove project?
Okay. I thought it was 3, but I guess it's 4. Yep, okay. No. Stanford, maybe? Yeah. Hardware store. By seaplane. Margaret drives a white Mercedes. Whoop, whoop. Who cares?
Great job with the press, Detective. You really let them know who's in control.
Me.
At this point, you can conduct in-depth interviews with...
Do I want to speak to anyone? No. Al, you fuck. Yep. Money business. Go. Fly, my pretty.
Excellent work, Detective. You've put together a fine case. I grant you a warrant to arrest the suspect. I hope you found your murderer.
I wasn't supposed to kill him. I was just going to drive the boat. But one of the other hitmen got seasick. I just picked up his gun and aimed. It was dumb luck. I'm not a good shot. It was crazy out there with the wind and the rain. I thought we were going to die. I wanted to turn back.
He feared
and
the Reaper.
Guy put a gun to my head and said we had to keep going. God, I wish we had turned back. It was all Kinsella's idea.
Based on the evidence,
I just
and
heard
before he
good,
can
good.
leave
So
the
obviously
country,
that was the
judge
director.
has just issued a warrant for Kinsella's arrest. His luck may have finally run out.
Outstanding work, Detective. I probably couldn't have solved this case as fast myself.
No, we
you after my
required
job?
12 hours more. It just goes to show you can't solve a case that quickly.